Hello, everybody, and welcome to Anno 1800. This is a game from came out a few years ago. It's a city building sandbox game, and I really enjoyed it a lot. Had a lot of fun with it, but they actually came out with 2 seasons of DLC, and I had activated the first season and started playing a little bit of it. Didn't get very far. Moved on to the other stuff, and I've come back to it, and actually they're about to start Season 3. So in order to get ready for it, I decided to pick this game up and play through the content of Season 1 and 2. And I'm also going to pick up a few achievements along the way that I don't have. Namely, in the campaign, I still haven't beaten the campaign on expert difficulty setting. So we're going to try to tackle that along with adding all of these other interesting and unique DLCs. So, hopefully you will join me for that, and we'll have some fun building along the way. So you can see most of these come unlocked by the start. Here's like a club reward and things like that. Some are from DLCs and etc. I've recently unlocked this guy, who we are going to play as. In order to get him, you need to get to the highest tier of population, the investor, using only charting routes, which is kind of crazy. And what we're going for, we unlocked this previously. I've unlocked this in a playthrough before. That was doing this on the middle difficulty, and here we have so that's for Queen and Empire is the hardest difficulty setting. There's also tons of other stuff I have to unlock. Namely, all of these are DLCs, right? They're achievements in the DLCs. So I'm going to try to hit as many of these as I can as we go through. For our logo, we are of course going to pick the top hat and monocle and that stash, that beautiful stash, because we are none other than Executive Industries. We are top-notch, amazing, an amazing company, up and coming in the new world of Anno 1800. So we'll have these unlocked. For my settings, I have some custom settings here. You can see I've managed to get it to expert mode. I'm not very sure what to set to make it easy on me, so I just went with the expert setting and then tweaked a few things. But we have small island sizes, medium fertility mineral deposits. I really didn't want to do the next level because that seems like it's really hard. Yeah, it just seems difficult there. I did want to also pick up Dr. Hugo Mercier. He is the Anarchist DLC, so we're going to include him. We also have Beryl and Admiral Vicente Silva. So this is our trio, with Admiral Vicente Silva being the hardest character to face. Although I've had trouble with Beryl in the past, so I'm really worried about this difficulty setting. We also have pirates, Jean La Fortune and Anne Harlow on hard difficulties. So that's gonna be, it's gonna be interesting. Can't really change these at all because this is the campaign and we need all of them. We got low income, low influence. We have to pay to relocate. All of this is really rough. And starting capital, we're going to start with just a little bit of money. That should be okay because we're going to be building up kind of slowly at the beginning, following the campaign. So let me just save these for future reference. Awesome. And let's get started.
Since that day you saved my life, I have presumed I knew you. But now, 1,000 letters from your father go unopened, yet one scribble from your sister changes everything? I didn't even know you had a sister. We are broke, old pal. We can't afford a passage back to your old world, back to your family. Not unless you suddenly remembered what work is. Dynamite fishing? You're serious? Well, the village north is always short on food. Remember when we escaped the pits back when? Still some dynamite left. Here it is. Just get plenty of distance on the throw. Even more roasted fish.
Oh, what the chimichurri was that, Boom?
All the blistered fish they could ever want.
Ah, that burnt reek. Ugh. Hand over whatever it is and I'll help you get rid of it. Here are your tickets. Hurry, drifters. The boat is leaving soon, and nobody wants you to miss it.
So, this is it. We're leaving paradise behind. You never talked much about family and the like. But you're dead serious about this, aren't you? No matter. I made a vow to defend you. And I don't break an oath. Even if a blind man could see you leap into the deepest pit of dung.
I have never asked anything of you, firstborn. Not when you stole away a tiptoe, leaving the family burden at your little sister's door. Our father is accused of high treason. Dare you to believe it? Will you now stand by, knowing gentle father is indungeoned? It must kill him. Please come home. We need you. Is it really you, dearest sibling? I never dared hope you'd return. Do you remember Bright Sands? Of course you do. We loved it here. It's changed now. The Royal Council support Uncle Edvard. Father barely cold, and he's pulling everything down.
Those houses. You never said how wealthy you were. Why were we selling fish and sleeping in barns?
Never told your friend of Good and Sons? There is much to be said, but not now. Dear father's funeral begins.
Where have you been? Without you brats, we'll never be done with this obligation.
Looks like Death claimed the wrong brother.
No matter, so few are here, when they are the few he loved most.
Nobody likes a traitor, let alone his tainted offspring. Better make yourself scarce.
We shall, dear sibling, for now. I have acquired a small island with the last of my funds, and passage for all still loyal to father. Together, we shall clear his name, or die trying.
Your sister reminds me of you. Must mean new adventures await, old pal.
This is it. Ditch water. End of the world. I hope you like it quiet.
All right, here we begin. A Tale of Two Brothers, Chapter 1. All right.
Still here? Establishing a rival company on that disheveled island?
Let Uncle Edvard scoff. A modest island, yes, but if you're at all like Father, you'll look beyond appearances. We must shelter the good, loyal people who have shown solidarity with our family. We need every hand we can get if we are to expunge this debris.
Alright, so, managed to come back to the old world, find out our father, he's dead, and is marked as a traitor, but we need to clear his name, so, we have some tasks to do, and the first thing we need to do is get our company up and running. We have only, little over 24,000. We have to build marketplaces, get workers, get farmers. This is the city builder, so essentially the idea is that we want to build the population up, and then as we get more population, more things like, for instance, this fishery will be unlocked, different stages of workforce will happen. So, first thing to do is we're going to build a marketplace, and I like to build it, we want to build it right in the center of town or somewhere near it. So let's start with that. I'm going to do it just right in the middle, right smack them in the middle. Let's also get like a little thing around here. Now there are like optimal strategies for this game. I'm not that familiar with them. I like to just kind of place residences generally where I want to. So first we have a couple houses. Maybe we'll do, I don't know, like 6 like this.
A new milestone.
Got a new milestone reached. We want to make sure that roads connect all of the housing. If they don't, they get upset. And you can see here they have access to their market. That'll get us 5 additional farmers.
Here out of spite? Or is this some futile attempt at competition?
Alright, Edvard.
As you are so desperate to appear
and he
responsible,
just likes to talk.
you'll be pleased to hear the cost of that fantastical funeral falls to you.
Miserly, uncharitable dastard, picking and choosing what he inherits.
Okay, so as we started building, a couple things to note. We've lost some timber because that's what's required to build these buildings. So for instance, the house, the farm residence, costs 2 timber to construct it. The marketplace costs me 10. I can no longer build another marketplace because I have no timber. So if I can't build something, it'll do what's called blueprint mode, which will place down a blueprint but not actually build the structure. It's kind of convenient. You can also activate blueprint mode at the bottom here. Very useful, for example, like if I want to plan to build these houses. I can just plot them down. I don't actually build them yet. We can go from there. Additionally, you can see we're starting to get more and more farmers. When we reach 50, this new condition for fish will be unlocked and we'll need to build a fishery. But first, we're going to run out of wood. So, we actually need to build timber production. The way that these work is that there's a production chain. So, first, in order to get timber, we need to have...
Slander, Edvard Prince and Bright
Oh,
Sands.
we got a news article. I'll get to this in a second.
Samuel's child, is it?
Edvard the Savior.
Thank heavens. I am so ashamed of every single word your uncle had me print.
Mr. Edvard Good speaks of a bold new era for the good and sons Nobly bearing the burden, terrible traitor brother dropped at his door. Traitor dies mysteriously in prison. Reports Samuel Good couldn't face the humiliation of a trial. Miserable few at a funeral, still more than Judas ever deserved. Island Sale Calamity. The Empire rocked by sale of a strategic island prosperity. Young Queen facing first major crisis, thanks to Samuel Good's act of treason. So he's publishing that our father was behind it all and that he has to bear the burden. What an asshole.
He
So,
twists every article in his favor at our and father's expense.
I'm with you there, Hannah. Alright, so back to what I was talking about. In order to produce timber, we need lumber. So first we're going to build some lumber huts. And you can see this has an area of effect and a percentage. If we get too close to our buildings, we start losing percentage, meaning we can't do anything with that land. So I think I'm going to go... Which side do I want to work on? Let's do this side. So I'm going to put them over here. And I'm just going to fit them in as best I can here. So let's see. I think like one here. Maybe one like here. Here. So we get 3 there. There's some ruins we'll have to clear out eventually. Ooh, I can't actually afford the warehouse. I think I messed that one up. So actually, because I can't build a warehouse, what I should do is actually build them a little closer to the harbor, because this counts as a warehouse. I'm just going to build one here. And a sawmill right next to the harbor here. And this will get me started. I'm going to move it over to that corner in a bit, though. But I actually was a little zealous. Put too many houses down before I built that.
Timber.
These don't require timber to build, which is kind of nice. So you can always build these. They just cost workforce, which is from all of the farmers, and they cost money to place down. So you can see this one cost 100 and 100. So back over here, what I want to do is I want to actually build these, but stop their production. And that way I don't actually use workforce on them while they're not being useful. And let me just make sure that this is getting a good amount here. I don't want to overlap too much because it'll cut into both of them. So what I want to do is, I mean, a little overlap's not the worst. I want to make sure I get as much of this as I can. So maybe like here. And we can build that, cancel it, and maybe another one like here. Alright, so from what you can see here, we have it's planting the forest right now. So if you're in a forest, you see these don't actually have to plant, they're ready to go. When you have a little bit but you don't have enough, it actually plants around here to kind of build up the area. So you can actually put this like in the middle of nowhere and it'll build a forest around there. It just takes a little bit of time. So we got a couple more seconds. That bar is full, but I have 4 seconds. Very weird. Alright, there it is. And so it's going to produce this lumber. That's going to go from here to here as the input, and we're going to output timber from there. Excellent. So this point is just kind of waiting for that to get done, and you can see there's the route. Ideally, you want to put the input to go into the next part in the chain, right? The output of the lumberjack goes straight here, as opposed to going to an intermediary like warehouse and then to this one. So over here, what we actually want to do is we actually want to set up sawmills such that these are going to go into the sawmills first and then into a warehouse. So I think I'm going to put this maybe like there's a ruin here, which is annoying. So I'm thinking like here. Make the 3 of them like that. Even roads take a little bit off of these, so we want our roads to actually be as small as possible if we want to be efficient. But these should go straight into those 3, and then this can come off into a warehouse. So let's get the warehouse here. And let's just put it, I think here. That'll leave us room for one more if we want a fourth one. Maybe when we move this one up, we can do that. You can see they're already unloading their wood. So we got 9 there. Once we get to 10, we can build this and we can kind of move everything over. Also, you'll notice my balance has gone down a lot. And that's because all of these buildings have a maintenance cost to them. So these ones have a 10 maintenance. Here's 20. I don't think these have, yeah, these don't have maintenance on there. But you can see, so let's see, that's 10, 20, 40. And then just making sure it's coming from, are these at 5 each? Because they're half, I think, when they're not being worked. Yeah. So I have to keep that in mind as well. So this was another 15 from these ones being paused. They're not even active right now. So be a little mindful of that when I do this. I'm gonna actually get this started here now that I have my warehouse. And the last thing I need to do to activate this is that they all need to connect to the harbor in some way. So ideally, is this gonna? Ooh, that's really close. If that would have been awesome if it was a perfect line, but what can you do? So now that it's hooked up there, this should actually be good to go. Start working on it, and we'll start getting some timber coming in here. But eventually we're going to need to deal with this balance. The way that we're going to deal with the balance is that we're going to actually use our farmers. So this condition, the supply effects is just that it gives us more farmers. But realistically, what we want to see is we get to these other effects, which will give us also more farmers, but also some coins to offset this cost. Additionally, in the happiness tab, these are luxuries, so they're not necessities for having farmer growth, but they allow us to have the farmers pay up a little bit in income, and that'll offset these maintenance costs a little bit. We'll see how it goes. Right now I'm just kind of waiting on timber so I can build the rest of these houses here. I don't want to build too much because our money is decreasing the longer we do this. Additionally, my workforce is 2 because I'm using 30 of them for jobs and I only have 2 more remaining. Once we get this up a bit more, I can start activating the other ones and we can get a higher production of timber. We're gonna want at least 4, maybe 5, just to keep it going because timber is really important early on. Everything, including like the fishery and other chains, all build out of it. So it's gonna be very important going forward. Excellent. Once we get this as well, we'll get the next quest done. So we see 1 more residence. And we need to attract more farmers. So I think each of these is going to be 5 total. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So if I get 1 more residence, all of these will eventually get up to 50 once this gets through. Very nice. I still want to get all of these in the block though, just to make it look good. We're going to need more farmers eventually anyway. Awesome. And right now we got a bunch of these ruins. Eventually we'll get rid of those as well. I think we need 10 for a sawmill and 5 workforce for a lumberjack hut. So at 15, we can actually turn 1 more of these on. Speed that up a bit more. Awesome. And I could also fast forward if I wanted to, like speed up time. That's one thing you can do in this game. I like to leave it on regular because eventually things happen super quick. Oh, we actually were able to take out one of these already. I didn't realize. So the ruins can be dismantled and you'll get some resources for them. Some ruins can't be yet because they require a stronger workforce, but for instance, this one can be taken care of. And you can kind of get them by just sort of
wouldn't have wanted us to sit on our
scanning.
hands while our one prospect was in such a state.
Ah, clean the
So
room.
let's gather our townsfolk and ask them to spruce the place up. Mourning is eased. Now we have others for company, sibling. It's been a hard day of labor for us all. We should cater to our tired, hungry people.
Alright, they're telling us to build fisheries, because that's going to be the next little piece here. That'll give us 3 farmers, and like I said, 1 coin per farmer, if they're full on fish. So we definitely want to start making that. Now, I know that we're going to be using this coastline for a lot of things, so I'm trying to figure out if I want to... You know, I'm going to put my fisheries, like, way off to the side here, I think. So maybe, like, here, and we'll eventually need a couple. So I'm just going to plan out some here. And I'm just going to extend this out and then have it come down. And what I'm going to do here to speed this up is I'm just going to plop a warehouse down a little closer. That way they don't have to go all the way to the harbor to drop it off. There is a max distance on how far they're willing to walk. You can see they only will get to about here. So they need a warehouse if they can't get all the way to the harbor. Alright. We're down 10 workforce, so we still need a few. We're going to get a bump to that once the fish come in, but it doesn't hurt to keep expanding this out. So let's see. And we do want to get this last one figured out as well. I think we can do another kind of block on each side that's like... can't really build here yet, so I'm just going to build here and here. And let's see, how do I want this to look? I don't want everything to be boxes like this, because this isn't super fun. So maybe after this one, we kind of try something more interesting. Like maybe I've seen some that are they're kind of cool. They're like little boxes like this with a little hole in the middle, and we could put ornaments in there and kind of spruce up the middle part. You cannot put a residence there. Like you can put one there, but without access to a road, they get really angry and eventually the building gets ruined. So they always need access to a road. So I think optimally packing them in like this is probably better, but we want to have a little diversity here. It also is something to consider that later on in the game, we might have to move things around to accommodate for things like railroads and stuff like that. Might be a little harder to get at. But you can see now we're actually getting quite a bit of population. We're also getting a decent amount of lumber. I'm going to activate these last 2 here. And actually, I want to move this. So we can actually move at a little bit of a cost. Maybe somewhere like here. And I can move this into that spot. And just
Help enough to demolish the larger
connects
ruins.
this up.
Let's breathe some life into this place.
Alright, Anna, I'm on it. We got this. I'm also approaching the cap of how much timber I can actually have in my storage at one time. I just hit it. So, at this point, we have plenty of timber. Let's actually get to building some other things.
It's been a long, hard day. The people need to rest and maybe wet their whistles.
I think our hunt is right on the money. We actually want to start this production here. So, right now,
Best of what we are.
our workers still need work clothes. They just unlocked this tier, meaning that they want work clothes, and you can see it actually gives us more coins. So the fish gave us a little bit, but we're also building a lot of maintenance. So this isn't really offsetting too much. We can actually open this up and see. We can see our finances here. So our balance is negative 180. We're really not making money. We have all this infrastructure. We just don't have anything really coming in from the farmers yet. So in order to do that, what we want to do is start getting these. You can see like the fishery isn't giving us coins quite yet. It's not 100%. It'll get there in a second. But once we start getting coins, we can start offsetting this. And because this is actually a pretty big number, we'll need a decent amount of coins per farmer, right? Additionally, the schnapps provides happiness and more coins, and a pub also will give us more coins. So all of this is going to add up to giving us a better balance here. So I'm going to start building this. Let's start with the schnapps, and actually let's throw this. Why don't we just throw this like right in here? I've not really done this where I've built a potato farm in the middle of a city, so that might be kind of interesting. We can also put the schnapps distillery right next to it if we want to, or we can move it around. But I think maybe it'd be fun to kind of just have like maybe like, let's see if we do. I'm trying to think of like what would be a good style for this. Obviously that's a square, but it's a little off. Well, I can also go out, so I can make it longer. Oh, you know what? You know what we could do? We could actually put the schnapps distillery like offset a little bit. So maybe something like ooh, actually something like that. And then we could have this kind of like growing around it. Would be kind of interesting. Something like that maybe. I'm just kind of messing around with some ideas there just to see what it could look like. Ooh, actually, it's kind of giving it some room, but maybe off by one always, right? Let's pop it right there. So this is actually kind of cool. We'll have the potato farm here. We'll have a schnapps distillery right there.
What brings you here, Master?
Should be pretty good, pretty good. Now, I don't think that this will reach... I don't think there's a warehouse in range for this. So, we might have to throw in a warehouse somewhere close by, and it doesn't quite fit in there. Maybe somewhere, maybe like here. Just to make sure it can reach a warehouse. And we'll get some schnapps going. Yeah, missing goods. And it looks like we're missing a bit of workforce as well. They got their coins coming in though, so we can actually see now, I think. Maybe? Can we see it yet? Still not showing us income from the workers yet. Maybe they're not making enough. They should be getting 1 coin per farmer though. Interesting. Well, we are getting more farmers, which is good. Let's also get some work clothes set up. Some sheep. I'm going to put this over here, kind of near these guys. Sheep are kind of interesting. They, the sheep farms themselves, they will take some tiles to build for their farm. But there's also a new thing in this game with silos. And silos will improve sheep farms. So ideally what I want to do is leave a little bit of space for a silo when we get that. So we'll have the sheep farm itself and a little space for silo. And so when I build this here, the second one, instead of building it right up against it, what I'm going to do is actually give it a little bit of space here. And plop these like so. Additionally, we'll have the knitters, which will make their clothing. And we just need this this ratio here. The reason I'm building 2 of each is because these are a 1-to-1 ratio. So we should turn that off for a second here. So I only need... I think it's because I built it late. Right now it's going into the warehouse, and then it's going to immediately turn around and go back into here. Ideally, I wanted to go straight to this production. So anyway, it takes 30 seconds to build, to make 1 batch of wool, and it takes 30 seconds to make 1 batch of work clothes. So this production line, all these early ones are going to be 1-to-1s.
Since the funeral, and the cost. Oh, why, it was extortionate.
Always at the worst time, Edvard.
Repay me now, or sell up.
Yeah, sure. He wants schnapps, because we built some.
Sick to the stomach that Edvard could ask so much of us so soon after father's death.
Me too. Anyway, so these are 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 1-to-1. We have lumberjack hut to sawmill, 15 seconds each, 1-to-1. So you notice for every lumberjack hut, I have 1 sawmill. And you can see all these are going straight into their sawmills, which is... Well, this one's not. That's weird. Oh, these are full up. That's why. When they're full up, they'll actually go into the warehouse and start building up a back reserve, which is also not bad. It's a little wasteful, but it's not a bad thing. Alright, we are down low in the workforce. I'm going to need to build a lot more houses, because this is only going to add 2 farmers for each one. So what I actually want to do is get some housing going here. Let's build it on this side. So build it like that. We'll have maybe along here as well. So we'll kind of have like a little side road, like do I want to do it like that? This could be kind of fun. I'm not picking these up because storage full, so any surplus is lost. I'm gonna leave it on the ground for now. But actually, what I could do, here is build like this, and then pick some up. That way, I'm not wasting any. Awesome. And they'll get theirs. They'll get their supplies as well. All right. So at this point, I'm just gonna build some small things around here. One thing I definitely want to get is a firefighter house. And actually, I want to fit it in right there. So what I'm gonna do is demolish that little guy. Put this over, I don't know, here, maybe. And in fact, we could actually, oops, not upgrade, demolish. We take 1 more out of here and place it over on this side here. Just kind of fill in that back lot there. Make sure those are built. And we can fit a fire station right there along this road. That way we're using as much space as we can. I think that'll be good. Let's get that built. And we also want to build a pub, because people need to get their schnapps, right? So they're getting it, but they also want the pub there for a little happiness. So let's give it to them. Let's put that pub, I don't know. How about...
Workforce shortage.
How about right alongside here? Is that okay? Maybe I don't want it sticking that far out. Maybe I do want it to be turned this way. I'm kind of debating about whether to put it here or here just based on these roads. Let's do it there and give it a little more... Instead of straight lines, let's give it a little, like, side jaunts. Again, not for optimization, but just because it's kind of fun.
Your people are recovered and desirous to proceed. Set them to it. We're going to need as much space as we can clear.
Oh, they want me to clear this space. Awesome.
Ready to repay my charity?
So we have 4 schnapps. We can pay him up a little bit.
Don't
Let's
think
do that.
you're finished, brat.
It's annoying, but we do have to pay our costs back. He's going to want clothes next. So we're starting to build that up a little
The
bit.
reek of lanolin.
Yep.
But if farmers' smocks are all you have...
So annoying. Alright,
Is there no limit to Uncle's shameless demands?
there is not.
Speak to our humble cousin.
Oh my gosh, so much
He
talking.
writes of a worker riot in Bright Sands. It seems we are not alone in our contempt for Edvard.
Okay, so I think I'm going to wrap it up here just to make sure we don't go too long. We had a lot of intro, and we have our first little starting village of Dishwater. Right now, everybody's happy. They're full up, and actually, if you notice, they're able to be upgraded, but we need to progress the journey, literally this next step, in order to do that, to get our next workforce. So I think I'm going to do that in the next episode, but thank you for watching. Oh my gosh, I'll do this now.
Ba, black sheep.
Have you any wool? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
4 bags full.
He couldn't be more annoying. Man, get out of my face. I think I'm going to play all these just in case people haven't seen the campaign. So if you're not interested in that, like, obviously feel free to jump ahead in the video, but I'm going to let those audios play out just because some people haven't experienced the campaign yet, and I just want to have this as like a way of doing that as well as we go through. I am moving very slow, especially for an expert game, so we'll see how this goes later on. Hopefully I can manage everything fine. But until next time, I'll see you guys later.